want to?
No, come on. You're the boss.
So, once again. La 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 la.
La la la.
Much better.
Yeah? Excellent.
Witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie na drugiej dziś konferencji prasowej. Naszymi gośćmi jest Nina Gromniak and Arthur Brown. Nasi wspaniali goście. Zapraszamy wszystkich do zadawania pytań. Zanim zaczniemy, chciałbym powiedzieć ciekawą historię. Otóż dziadek Niny, który podczas II wojny światowej był pilotem wojskowym, urodzony w Kielcach. Dopiero ojciec wyjechał za granicę. Wczoraj Nina pokazywała nam drzewo genealogiczne. To prawda, ma dziadków urodzonych w naszym mieście. So, Arthur, oops,
No.
sorry, didn't happen sometimes. Okay, so you're in Poland again. You were a few times in the Legends of Rock at the Lina Charlotte. I know that this place has a very special place in your heart. Right?
Yes, it does.
What's so special?
The vodka.
So it's easy. I thought it's mystery or something like that. But
No, usually when I come to Poland, there is a group of about 4 or 5 or 6 people who are, when I'm not singing, they are there, and the vodka is there, and the last time I was here, one of the guys, I stayed in his house, and he had just been out and bought old-fashioned phonograms, you know, that you wind them up. And he had a record of Bing Crosby singing My love for you and your gift to me, true love, true love. So every night before we went to sleep, after drinking lots of vodka, we would stand, whoever was there, maybe 10 people, and we would sing with Bing Crosby. And I thought this was a wonderful way to be received to Poland. Also, they took me around a lot of the, the old squares, and I was really kind of moved by the fact that when, some of the big buildings in, for instance, near Gdansk or Warsaw were blown up, the local people picked up all the bricks and they rebuilt them. And for me that was quite a moving thing that, well, in the end, the human spirit, it goes on and you can't trample on it.
yeah, when you're all together, you can do.
Yeah,
Huge
like
things.
us now, we could do it.
Yeah. One question to Nina: how did it start that you start performing with Arthur?
I think they found me. They found me playing somewhere. Which is what they did. On the right place.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, it was actually Jim, our bass player then, he's moved to another band. When we decided to have a new person in the band, he said, about a year ago, I saw this young lady playing, and I only saw one tune, but it was a reggae tune, and she's the only person I've ever seen play who just played what the reggae needed, not what she wanted to. Man, I'm really great. And so it was okay.
But more about music than the skills.
Well, the skills were there.
Okay. All together.
All together. And more important, the taste. The musical taste that instead of making yourself seem good, you make the music seem good.
And Nina, one more, if you could tell a few words about your story. Grandparents very interesting.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful coincidence.
so I've been quite separated from my Polish history because of my brother's journey. But he grew up here, we found out, and he was a pilot. Poland and then to England, and that's where my grandparents met, and my dad grew up in London. So we've been quite detached from the Polish history. So it's really quite amazing to be coming back and playing guitar. Kind of honoured that all his hard work and struggles means that I can come back and play guitar. It's quite lovely really, so yeah, I value that a lot.
Nina nigdy jeszcze nie była w naszym mieście, to po raz pierwszy. Ktoś z Państwa chciałby zadać pytanie? Możemy po polsku tłumaczyć.
Ja mogę zapytać, jaki jest Pana stosunek do heavy metalu? Wpłynął Pan na tylu heavy metalowych artystów, czy w ogóle słucha Pan tego gatunku muzyki, czy w jakikolwiek sposób Pana to interesuje?
You inspired so many heavy metal players. Do you listen to this kind of music? What do you think about it?
I think it's quite alright!
Tell a few which are your favorites.
Well, no, it was strange. I was in. I hadn't listened to a lot of it because when the Crazy World was playing, right at the end of that period, Black Widow, Black Sabbath, they all started up, and Deep Purple too. But we by then were touring America, and we were on a different musical journey. So it was sometime later in Austin I was producing a record for a hardcore punk band, which was like having an argument all the time. Their music sounded like somebody in the kitchen having an argument. And so the guitarist, I said, well, where do you come from musically? He said, oh, heavy metal. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, let me play you some. And then I listened to it, and then I listened to the lyrics, and I realized that the kind of lyrics that they had in the hippie music from the Doors, all the poetry and everything, there it was in the heavy metal. And then it had got moved from there into some of the punk music. So I started to listen to some of it, and it has a great deal of excitement. It has beautiful melodic runs. It can break your neck quite easily when you're dancing. And it's very loud, and a lot of them like to shout and scream instead of singing. But that's the way they are. And it has maintained a very high standard. I mean, you've got death metal, cow metal, dog metal, all of these things, you know. Table metal. And so it's very hard to have something to say about the whole genre, but there's a lot of good music in there.
Are you still inspired by someone else's music?
Well, now I get inspired by where I live in Lewis. There's a bridge goes over a very small river. It's an old brick bridge, and either side of it and on the middle there are different people busking. And one day it's somebody who's got a whole of an orchestra behind them on tape, and he's singing perfectly like Frank Sinatra. And the next lot is a gypsy band from Eastern Europe somewhere who are just phenomenal. There's another person, a woman singing folk music. I find all of that inspiring. I don't find particular bands anymore, maybe a tune by particular bands. But I find all kinds of music inspiring. The modern, some of the hip hop stuff, acid jazz too, and a lot of the world's ethnic music I listen to.
Do you know anything about Polish?
Only a little. I know that there's a very good long tradition of rock music here now, and so I get sent CDs by some of the Polish bands, and so I listened to them, and it seems to me that initially it started off being kind of following the old fashion, but then it brought in also, kind of Polish rhythms, and they came to England too. That became popular. So I know some of it, and I like more the old-fashioned Polish music, I'm gonna say.
I know that you spent some of the private time in Poland, in Warsaw and other cities. And when you were here last time, you went to jam with the Polish rock band Crew.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
It was really good.
I saw the videos. What it showed me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I like going to different countries and jamming, because then you're not just playing a tune that you have learned and that someone else has played, and that's okay. No, what's coming out is what you can do in the moment, and what you can create. So sometimes it's very bluesy, and sometimes it's more rocky. But yeah, we had a lot of fun.
That's my specialty.
How did you come up with an idea of painting your face, and when it was? Do you remember? Because you was the first one to do it. All the bands after you, I don't let me say the Kiss or something. They were because you did that, or even Alice Cooper was after you.
Yeah. That's because I'm so old.
But this idea, because
Actually, it's strange how those things happen. It mainly started in Paris in 1965, and one night I'd been singing there, and this woman came in with her child, and the child was about 7, and this child looked at me and said, "You know, your music is nice, good, but much better if you black out your teeth." I said, "What?" And he smiled and said, "Yeah." So the next night I thought, 12 beers later, black out the teeth. I blacked out all my teeth and got through. Yeah. And someone else had left. There were sort of, it was supposed to be a hotel, but there was a lot of activities by certain ladies from the street in that place. And they used to have lots of wild parties. And one morning when I opened my door, there was a crown on the floor with candles in it. So that night I went down to the club, put on the crown, and blacked out my teeth. And that was the beginning. And then that was, in the beginning of UFO Club. In
Pink
London.
Floyd in the beginning was
Pink
playing
Floyd.
with Sid Barrett, and you did also, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was Soft Machine, Pink Floyd, and then after a few months, all of the people came. Hendrix came down, the Who, Townsend.
Did you meet this guy from London, Stash Masowski-Derola? He was with Polish roots, and he was hanging out with Brian Jones there, and he was going to UFO Club.
I
Really
never met
often.
him. Well, I don't know. I may very well have met him, but I don't remember. We did meet the Stones came down, and Tom Jones, he came down, and one of the great opera singers, I think it was Maria Callas. Lots of people from different arts came down, dancers and stuff. It's a great place.
Proszę zapytać, jaki repertuar dzisiaj przedstawi i ewentualnie, czy to będzie przekrój jego dokonań wieloletnich, czy jakieś ostatnie nagrania bardziej?
Well, I don't know we will certainly do fire.
What?
And some from the album Zim Zam Zim, the most recent one, and then a kind of selection from different parts. You know, my second band, Kingdom Come. We might do one from the band where I used to perform naked. That's a nice one. And yeah, bits from everywhere.
Wracając do repertuaru, to w Dolinie Charloty były dwa covery Animalsów. Czy to było zamierzone, czy zawsze w repertuarze?
It's about the funny thing about the Legends of Rock when you sang Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. He asked if that was a surprise or you wanted to do this. It was in the track list before the show.
Well, it was one where for about a year before that, whenever we did an encore, we did that song. And of course, on that night it was Eric Burden also, but then he has 6 other hits, you know. So it was something that we did before, but we did think about, I wonder, really be happy with that? He wasn't happy with it.
He was, that's for sure.
Ja chciałem jeszcze nawiązać do ostatniej płyty Zim Zum Zam.
Zim Zum Zim.
Skąd ten tytuł, ile trawy wypalonej przy nagrywaniu i jakie były inspiracje do nagrania?
It's about the brand new album. Why did you decide to title it that way, and how many?
How many tracks?
And what about Spot? Introducing grass.
The reason I decided to do that was because I liked Captain Marvel. He used to change into his character by shouting Shazam. And so I thought, oh, Shazam. But then I thought, no, there's a band being called Shazam. But I wanted something like Shazam. So I thought Zim. Nah, Zim's not very strong. Zim Zam. But Zim Zam Zim. And so that was why it came about. What was the second part of the question?
About the grass.
Oh, the grasses, I've forgotten that already. Let me ask a question. Did you have any porridge this morning?
You ask him a question.
Yeah. Did he have porridge for breakfast?
Porridge?
Owsianka.
Ja to owsiankę dzisiaj.
Yeah. There you go. So that's my answer.
I'd like to ask you about your burning helmet. Shall we say it tonight on your
Tonight?
Yeah.
No.
Why? I heard you set yourself on fire several times here. Why this item?
Well, it's very good cooking oneself. Give yourself to the audience as a kind of burger, and they eat you. It's kind of a Christian thing, and but there is we are at the moment experimenting with different ways for it, because the last 2 times I wore it, it set the stage on fire and set me on fire. So, and once, you know the guy who painted all the covers for Yes, Roger Dean. Well, we were in a place doing a concert, and all his paintings were around the outside. Well, unfortunately, some of his paintings were quite decided that maybe a good time to find a way to do it that's not so dangerous. Also, a lot of places won't let us do it. When I started, you could burn anything.
Have you ever done it inside?
Oh yeah. I was taken about 4 years ago on this small tour, and in about 5 of the places they still got the burn marks. They kept them in the ceiling. They had to sign them.
It's mine.
Okay. I got one more question. You're playing at a lot of festivals lately, and there are also bands from the 60s as well. You know probably from the years before, like here with the Animals. There are a few guys from these Animals, you know, the Animals from the 60s. Do you talk to them, and you know, are you having any chat about old days?
It depends on, you know, a lot
Find
of those.
yourself comfortable with those guys who are hearing music through the years, through the decades.
Yeah, I you know, before, for instance, before he died, Joe Cocker would meet up on festivals, always have a little chat. With Eric, I did have some talk. I just talked with the drummer, but of course he, you know, from the Animals tonight.
Joe Steele.
Yeah, we just had a nice conversation. So it's kind of, a lot of those musical guys like to talk about the past, and I'm not like that. I like what's going on now.
Yeah.
So there's a limit to how much I want to do that. But for instance, I play occasionally with Clem Clemson from Colosseum. Yeah, I'll be playing with him in Germany in a few weeks, and we always have a great time because he likes to drink.
I think it's nice to meet somebody with whom you come out before and anything like this, and you probably know each other for many years.
Yeah, it was for me for about 16 years. I went and lived in Texas, and I didn't do touring because I was bringing up my family. So I missed out on a lot of that, but I do meet lots of them, and it's kind of, you get a different perspective from what's written in most of the newspapers and things, you know, like personal experience of stuff. But after a while, all that gets a bit boring. Old men sitting by the fire. I remember when
50 years ago.
Memories are important for you.
The memories are important because it's kind of nice for young.
Remember them.
Just remembering them is quite amazing. But it's also the case that, you know, even though the whole of the industry was different when I was young than it is now for the young people, they like to see that, you know, people can be a professional musician and come out of the whole horrible business end of it and still love music and feel that it was all worthwhile. You know? So in that sense, the stories are worth telling. And we had a lot of fun, so that's, you know.
So we will be going to the end. Just one more to Nina. Is he like the boss or a colleague?
Oh well, no, that brings out, allows us all to be as we are, and I think that brings out the best in everyone. And yeah, some people ask that question, and they're quite surprised by the answer.
They feel comfortable together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool. We just had some time in Texas, and she went around and visited all the Texan bands, and we spent many hours together. It was wonderful. But what was it you said yesterday?
Oh, the youngest person I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Państwu bardzo. Thank you very much for your time.
One more.
There are some collectors, I would like to ask if you can sign.
Certainly, yes.
Jakby ktoś z Państwa sobie życzył autograf